It was one of those gray November mornings when the city feels colder than it should. The glass doors of the brewhouse cafe swung open as a tall man in a tailored coat stepped inside, shaking off the chill. Mark Dalton, real estate mogul, millionaire, and owner of half the buildings on that street, took one look outside and frowned. Right across the cafe entrance, huddled beside a wall, sat a homeless man with a ragged blanket and an old golden retriever at his side. The man was quiet, head bowed, holding a cardboard sign that simply read, "Just trying to keep her warm." Mark's voice was sharp as he turned to the security guard at the door. "Get him out of here," he said coldly. "He's bad for business." If you believe true kindness always finds its way back, please tap the like button now and subscribe to support more stories like this. The guard, a middle-aged veteran named David, hesitated. He'd seen the man before, Tom, that was his name, and that dog, Maggie, who never left his side. They'd been fixtures on that corner for weeks. David stepped outside, his breath forming small clouds in the air. "Hey, Tom," he said quietly. "You might want to move along before the boss gets mad." Tom lifted his eyes. They were weary but kind. "I get it," he whispered. "I'll go soon. Just waiting for her to wake up. Maggie's tired." David glanced down. The dog's fur was patchy, her paws wrapped in bits of cloth. But she looked up and wagged her tail, as if she still believed in the goodness of people. Inside the cafe, Mark was barking orders on his phone about a new property deal, his coffee untouched. From where he sat, Tom looked like every stereotype he'd built in his mind, a failure, a nuisance, someone who didn't try hard enough. But David knew a secret Mark didn't. Last week, when David's own truck broke down near the bridge, it was Tom who had found him stranded. Tom had given up the only dry blanket he had to keep David warm until help came. That night, Tom had gone without, curling up with Maggie under a leaky overpass. But that wasn't the real secret. The real one was Maggie. A few months earlier, before the streets had claimed Tom, Maggie had been a therapy dog for veterans, trained at a center funded by none other than Mark Dalton's foundation. When David first learned that, it hit him like a storm. The man Mark wanted gone was sleeping beside one of his own foundation's dogs, a living symbol of the charity he used to advertise his kindness. But here he was now, demanding that same kindness be erased from view. David stepped back inside. Mark looked up impatiently. "Did you take care of it?" David took a breath. "No, sir. I didn't." Mark's eyes narrowed. "Excuse me." David's voice was calm but firm. "That man out there, he's not just some beggar. His dog, Maggie, she came from your therapy program. She helped veterans with PTSD before Tom ended up on the street. You paid for that program yourself." For a long moment, the cafe fell silent except for the faint hum of the espresso machine. Mark froze, his phone still in his hand. "What did you say?" "Maggie," David repeated. "Your charity trained her. That man saved her when she was abandoned after funding ran dry. He's been taking care of her ever since." Mark turned toward the window. Tom was still there, stroking the dog's fur, his hands trembling from the cold. For the first time, Mark noticed the way Tom's coat hung loose on his frame, the way Maggie pressed against him to keep him warm. Something in him cracked open. He walked out without a word, the sound of his polished shoes echoing against the sidewalk. Tom looked up warily as Mark approached. Mark crouched down beside the dog, his voice low. "She's from the Dalton Foundation, isn't she?" Tom nodded slowly. "Yeah, she's all I got left of the good days." Mark swallowed hard, shame washing over him. He pulled off his own scarf and wrapped it around Tom's shoulders. Then he called David over. "Let's get them inside. Coffee, food, and whatever else they need." That morning, the cafe filled with an odd, beautiful sight, a millionaire, a guard, a homeless man, and a dog sitting together at one table. No one spoke much. They didn't need to. Maggie's head rested in Mark's lap, and for the first time in years, he felt something money had never bought him: peace. In the weeks that followed, Mark quietly arranged housing for Tom through his foundation's outreach program. When Tom moved into his small apartment, Maggie bounded across the floor like she knew they'd finally found home again. Mark visited sometimes, not as a benefactor, but as a friend. The man he once tried to erase had become a mirror, showing him what real compassion looked like: quiet, raw, and unconditional. We'd love to hear your story. What is the most memorable act of unexpected kindness you have witnessed or received? Share it in the comments below. By winter's end, a new plaque appeared on the wall inside the Brewhouse Cafe. In honor of Maggie, and the reminder that kindness should never have a price tag. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes, the smallest act of compassion can change a life forever.